Good afternoon and welcome, my friends, here to AQ Saints YouTube Network. Joey Sutherland with you. Apologize for the delay getting on the audio version here. We were dealing with a few snafus. They've all been corrected, and now we're playing live ball. Hot shot to third. Long throw. Step throws, gets her by about 2 steps. One up, one down for the Saints in the bottom half of the first. That was Marsh with the ground out. That'll bring up Houseman. If you joined us late or were curious on what happened, it was Lily Morissette leading off for the Blue Devils with a base on ball. She stole second, advanced to third on a ground out by Bloomfield, scored on a ground out by Bloomfield. Then there was a 2-out single by Sua and a ground out to third by James. That's where you are. We're all caught up, and thank you for joining us. My name's Joey Sutherland. I'll be keeping you company throughout the afternoon. First pitch is popped up. Shallow center field. On the run is the center fielder. She's there, and Bloomfield puts it away for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Saints in their half of inning number 1, trailing 1-0. That's going to leave it up here to Katie Carlson. Carlson, the first sacker for AQ, wearing number 18. She has been hot, and she would like to continue that here today. The sun trying to peek through. We're hoping. On the hill, it is Monroe. Her first pitch is a called strike. As Carlson steps out, she'll collect her thoughts, think about all the good in this world, and then step back in and get ready to swing away. Back on the hill is Monroe. Gets a sign. Here's the pitch, working quickly. That was the breaking ball. Rises up, 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 and away for ball 1. That'll even the count at 1-1. Digging back in with the open stance. Carlson waits. Here's the offering in the dirt. Ball 2. Two outs here for the Saints in their half of the first inning. We thank you for joining us. There's a line shot into right field. Diving and making a fine catch out there is Bloomfield, and that will retire the Saints in their half of the first inning. They go down quietly, 3 up, 3 down, and we will head to the second with the visitors from Lawrence Tech on top 1-0. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Pavese. Fouled it away, so I guarantee you there's 2 strikes. Now whether or not there's 2 balls, we're still completely unsure. It is 1-2, so now we know for sure. The mystery has been solved. The Scooby Gang can go have a snack. Pops it up down the third base line, going out of play. So we're going to try this one again. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top half of the second inning. It is Lawrence Tech on top, 1 zip. 1 ball, 2 strike count here. In the dirt, blocked, but it doesn't really matter. It's just going to bring the count to 2-2. As is Crittenden, Brenna Crittenden, the third baseman for the visitors. The Blue Devils number 7 batter waits. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Blasts this one to center. That's a plethora of trouble. Over the head of Lanham. That could be 3. She's rounding second, heading for third, and she's going to make it standing up. So a long triple for Crittenden is a nice start to the second inning for the Blue Devils. A leadoff triple, and she just absolutely blasted that one to right field deep. And already scoring 1 and looking to add on are the Blue Devils, as that's going to bring up Zoe Markey, the shortstop. First pitch, pops it up. First baseman calls for it in foul territory. She makes the catch, faking like she was going to go, but going nowhere is Crittenden after the Carlson catch. Makes it 1 down here for Lawrence Tech in their half of the second. Still, that's a very big opportunity there for the Blue Devils to push the second run through at third base with only 1 out. Pavese gets a sign. Here's the first pitch. Pounds it foul. Oh, on that one, Casey Snyder, the second baseman, she turned on that one. I thought it was going to hit her, but she opened up the hips and the legs quick enough and was able to pound that one down the third baseline foul. So Pavese gets ahead in the count. 0-1 is the count here. Here comes the next offering. Right down the middle, called strike 2. And now let's see if she fires up some different thoughts here. As Snyder, number 19, digs back in. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Strike! No, just a tick low. I thought he was getting ready. He is a very deliberate umpire. I thought he was getting ready to raise the arm, but he wasn't. So the count will be 1 ball and 2 strikes here in the top half of the second inning. That's a base hit up the middle, and that'll make it 2-zip. Good piece of hitting there. 2-strike hitting by Snyder. She takes it right back up the box. That allows Crittenden to score, and it is now 2-zip in favor of the Blue Devils. The number 9 batter in the lineup for Lawrence Tech will be Lauren Fife, the designated player. With Snyder over at first, 1 out, takes a ball inside and low. Waiting for the next offering from Pavese. Here it comes. Another one just low. That'll bring the count to 2-0. Lily Morissette, who walked and scored back in the first inning, is on deck. Only 1 down with a runner at first here for the visitors. On top 2-zip early. Fouls that one towards the AQ bench. And that'll bring the count to 2-1. Gets a new pill. Here comes the 2-1 offering. Fastball inside. That'll bring the count to 3-1. So not making it any easier on themselves right now are the Saints. Down 2-zip. And Lawrence Tech looking for more. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Catches the inside corner. I wasn't sure. And to be honest with you, I don't think Fife was sure either. She took about 2 steps towards first, but was looking at the home plate umpire the whole time. So now we have a payoff pitch coming up here. Pavese gets a sign. Here it comes. Ground ball to second. Only going to have one. Oh, it hits the runner. The runner is out. So how that is going to be ruled, this is an interesting. If you are the base runner and you get hit in fair territory by the ball, you are immediately out. The other one is actually credited a single, which is a weird, obscure rule. But that is 1B, and then the player, the batter gets a single, but that's going to be first pitch. There she goes. Throw to second. Not in time. That'll be a stolen base. That's the second steal for Morissette already. Just to tick off the plate, that'll make it 2-0. Next pitch is a called strike. And that one's low. What a play by the third baseman Fisher on a line shot heading for left field for out number 3. But they push another one through, and after 2 or 1.5, it's 2-zip in favor of the Blue Devils. Line shot down the right field line, hooking. It'll go foul. Saints down by a pair, 2-zip as they bat in their bottom half of the second inning. Blast into right center field. That's going to get up the alley. That'll be extra bases. Rounding first, heading to second with a stand-up leadoff double for Aquinas will be the shortstop, Carson Hendrickson. Oh my goodness, I can't. Pops it down the line. The right fielder with a good play makes the catch, but advancing on to third on the play. So it'll be a productive out there for the Saints and puts their first run in scoring position with only one down. Runner at third, only one down. That's going to bring up Fisher, the third baseman. She flies one down the right field line. This one's going to go foul. Fisher, the third baseman for Aquinas, made a spectacular play on a blistering line drive. Looked like it had left field, but she made a good catch to retire the side in the top half of the first. Now a chance to bring home the first AQ run here. Here comes the 0-1. Grounder foul towards the dugout of the Blue Devils, and that'll put her behind in the count 0-2. She steps out of the box, looks down at Coach Brad Cook, takes a practice swing, takes a second practice swing, touches the bottom of the bat to the ground, and now digs back in. Home plate umpire says it's okie dokie to pitch, and Monroe now back on the rubber. Here's the pitch. That is a changeup way up and away, ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Saints with a runner at third following that leadoff double by Hendrickson. She's itching to come home. And Fisher is only too happy to oblige. Let's see if that happens. Here's the 1-2. Just a tick high. Ooh, I thought she was going to get rung up on that one. Instead, that'll bring the count even at 2-2. After quickly stepping out, back in the box is Fisher as she waits from the next pitch from Monroe. Here it comes. Little looper over the first baseman, fair ball into right field. That'll score a run, and the Saints are on the board thanks to that one-out single from Fisher. Walking in on her tippy toes is Hendrickson, and the Saints are on the board. One out, one on here for Aquinas, looking to tie it up. Takes the first pitch just a bit high, ball one. Want to thank you all for joining us here on the AQ Network. AQ YouTube Network here today. The Tigers all over the Padres today, 6-0, looking to take 2 out of 3 in the Motor City. A great outing today from Reese Olson. Back in with a 2-0 count. Buckham awaits the catcher. She swings right through it for a strike. Gets back in, behind in the count, 2-1. Pops this one up, out of play, and it'll make it up the hill. It's going to have a little bit of mud on it there, as we did have some rain earlier today. But it is, in fact, I couldn't agree with Joe anymore. It is turning out to be a beautiful day. Now the count's 2-2 with the runner at first, still 1 out. Ball high, that'll bring the count full. Lanham is on deck, awaiting to bat here in the bottom half of the second inning. Still only 1 on, 1 out, 1 in. 2-1 is our score. Here comes the pitch. Ball 4. So it doesn't matter that she's out, it was ball 4. It was a great throw by the catcher, but it didn't really matter. As Buckham draws the base on balls, and the Saints have runners at first and second, and only 1 out. Let's see what the left-handed Lanham has in store. She digs in. Monroe gets the sign. And here comes the first offering. Fastball catches the outside corner for a called strike. I thought that was the case, but you got to be really, really, really patient with our arbiter behind the plate. Infield in, looking for a bunt. There it comes, pulls it back, ball. And the runners stay where they are. That'll even the count at 1 ball and a strike. The center fielder Hinkle is on deck with Fisher at second, Bukema at first. Here's the pitch. Takes another one up and in. So now the count is in the favor of the hitter. Angelina Lanham, the right fielder, has the count 2 balls and a strike. Bottom half of the second inning. Monroe ready. Here it comes. Pops it up, foul back this way. And it will make it to the Cornerstone Apartments. With the count now being 2-2. Digging back in is Lanham. Here's the pitch. She tries to punch it the other way, and it's going to go foul just over the dugout for AQ, where one of the Saints will pick that one up. I think it was Kenzie Jordan who picked that one up and brought it back into the field. And we're going to have deja vu all over again. 2-2 pitch. Little pop-up back this way. And it's going to hit the netting. Oh, baby, was that a nervous Nelly on that one. I thought that was going to hit BK's mom, Coach Brad Cook's mom right there. And the ball finally coming off the netting lands just in front of her, but she doesn't even bother. She makes one of the visiting fans pick it up. I like it. She's like, I'm enjoying this day, watching my son's team. You can go get that ball. And so she did. So the count now is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Still only 1 out. Runners at first and second. Monroe gets a new softball. And gets set to fire the 2-2 pitch in here to Lanham. Swing and a miss. Down she goes. She went with the fastball down and away, and unable to catch up to it was Lanham for out number 2. It's going to leave it up to Hinkle. Hinkle, another left-handed hitter here for the Saints, with the top of the order on deck. Here comes Waits for the first offering with the infield still in. Ground ball past the third baseman. That was a gutsy play. Sure, the third baseman got back to the bag, and it's going to be a fielder's choice. And out on the play will be Fisher at third. Down go the Saints, but they get 1. They trail 2-1 as we head to the third. Keep it here on the AQ Network. Center fielder Ashlyn Bloomfield up. She grounded out to short her first time up. Now is way ahead in the count, 3-0. Ball 4. No, that's a strike. Oh my goodness. That's the longest delay I've seen yet. Now it's ball 4. So a leadoff walk here will bring up Alyssa Bloomfield, the right fielder. Alyssa also grounded out to short her first time up. Pavese digging herself a bit of a hole here. Pops that one up down the third base line. It's going to go out of play. But if anybody can get out of the trouble, you would definitely suspect it would be the current WHAC conference pitcher of the week, Sophia Pavese. It was announced yesterday that she was the player of the week, pitcher of the week for the WHAC conference. Congratulations to the senior. Count now even at 1-1. Top half of the third inning. Here's the pitch. Away from the catcher, but going on the play. That's going to be a stolen base for Bloomfield. And now there is a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Apparently that was low. And you can hear some of the AQ faithful are chirping at the home plate umpire. His strike zone does seem to be a tick small here today. Time is called, and that's going to bring out Coach Hausman to have a word on the hill with Pavese. Joining her will be the catcher, Bukema. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the big show. Probably not the conversation going on there. Probably mostly just to calm down the pitcher, as it is argued that she could be being pinched a little by the calls from the home plate umpire. All right, back to play. Here we go. 3-1 pitch coming up. And another one low. That's going to be the back-to-back walks. And kicking up their heels once again are the Blue Devils, already on top 2-1. And now they get the second and third hitter in the lineup to walk, bringing up the cleanup hitter, Suha, who singled her first time up. First pitch. Ball low. Looks like there's some action in the AQ bullpen. And that is going to do it here. So let's see what's going to happen here. Coach Cook not wasting any time. As it'll bring Drummond on the hill here now for AQ. With only nobody out in the top of the third inning. I don't need the second cookie. Save it for a second game for you. I still got my whole sandwich here. Oops. Might help if I clip. All right. After the pitch and change, taking over now is Drummond on the hill. It's a hot shot down the third base line, foul by about 10 feet, maybe 5 feet. So the count's now even at 1-1. The first baseman, Gloriana, back into the box here for the Blue Devils. Waits on the 1-1 pitch coming up here from Drummond. There's a little ground or a liner over the shortstop's head. That's actually going to get up the gap, and that'll score a run, and it'll end up being a double for Suha. Boy, when she hit it, I thought it might be caught. Didn't expect it to be an RBI double as Bloomfield scores on the play with Alyssa Bloomfield taking third base. Now runners at second and third, nobody down, and an opportunity for a big inning here. First pitch is a called strike to Morgan James. James grounded out sharply to the third baseman her first time up. The catcher waits. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to short. They're going to go home with it. And got her. What a nice play. That'll be a fielder's choice. 6-2. Bloomfield is retired. And Suha takes third base. So now we have runners at first and third with one out. First pitch is just a bit outside, as it is Brenna Crittenden. She tripled deep to right her first time up. The lefty digs back in with a slightly open stance, waits for the next pitch from Drummond. Here it comes. Right on the outside corner for a called strike. That'll even the count at 1-1. We are coming to you here today and Saturday, the last two home games for Aquinas. They'll both be played here at the Cornerstone Sports Complex. Next one's up. They go down to second, and the ball gets away. So that's going to be a stolen base. And then an E2 throwing will score Suha. Fouls that one away. We'll have to see if that one will end up becoming an earned run or not. The likelihood is it will, but we'll keep an eye on it right now. You still assume runners are at second and third. That's a strike three, and down she goes. So I guess it's possible now. We'll have to wait to see on this last batter if they can retire Markey without her getting on base. That previous run will be unearned. Nonetheless, though, it's 2 runs in for the Blue Devils. They're on top 4-1 in the top half of the third. First pitch, right down the middle for a called strike, I assume, and yes, it was. Working quickly. Little looper, that's going to drop in for a base hit. So, yes, it's, oh, and then there's a misplay and is going to get her to second. So that is going to be a 1B RBI scoring James. Then she'll take second on an E9 fielding. Little looper, that's fair down the right field line, and another runs in. They are finding the spots right now as Snyder with her second single down the right field line. She'll get an RBI, and that will score a marquee, which now we're not sure on Marquis if hers will be earned or not. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Fouls that one away. There's a grounder to third. That's fair. Long throw. Step and throw. Did she hold on? She did. So down goes Fife on the 5-3 for the putout. But a whole bunch of unearned runs there. And at the end of two and a half, it's now 6-1. The Blue Devils on top 6-1 as the Saints bat in the bottom half of the third. They gave up 4 runs there in the top half of the third. They're going to try to get some of that back. There's a little looper. The pitcher picks it up, gets away from the catcher. That was a very odd backspin on that one. That'll be ruled a single for Marsh. 1B1. I do not think she throws her out because of the backspin on that one. And that's going to bring up Houseman. Houseman flied out to center her first time up. Looking to help the cause here, the senior second baseman waits on the first offering here from Monroe. Pops one back this way. Waiting on the next pitch. Here it comes. Ground ball to short. This could be 2. Touches the bag. Fires it out. That's going to be a 6-3 DP. She hit it right on the screws, but unfortunately right at the shortstop, who turns it into a double play. And the once promising start to this inning is now leaves it up to Katie Carlson. There's a pop up to center field. She's calling for it and puts it away for the third out in the third. The Saints threaten but are unable to score, and at the end of 3, they trail by 5, 6-1. Lawrence Tech picking up where they left off with a sharp single to center for Morissette. That's going to bring up the Bloomfields. First Ashland as the throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base. So already a running in scoring position. Nobody down. Already up by a nickel. 6-1. Hot shot back up the middle through for another base hit. They're going to send her. The throw is cut. And that will allow the runner to score. That would have been close. I think she should have let it go. 1B, 8 RBI. Now we're going to have a courtesy runner, I believe. Looks like, oh, maybe not. Or maybe. Yes, we will be having a courtesy runner for Bloomfield. Still waiting to see who it is, though. The anticipation is mounting. And we're trying to see the jersey number there. It's that one player. Any help, guys? $28, 27, 20. Okay, it's definitely 20-something. We're going to know one way or the other here. I assure you that. It is number 20 will be pinched. First pitch fouled away. You got to give Joe a lot of credit on that one. Eagle eyes. They say soccer players have the best eyes. There's another rope, but a fine catch. Oh, my goodness. What a catch there out in left field by Marsh. That saved a double and probably another run. L7 for out number 1. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Sua. She's had a good day already. Singled and had an RBI double her last time up. 2 for 2 on the day. There's a blast deep to left field. This got a shot. Watch it fly. 4 to score. Touch them all. A huge home run. And now Suha is a triple shy of the cycle. Oh, there was not even an ounce of doubt on that one. She absolutely destroyed that one. Bloomfield will score ahead of her, and now that's 3 runs in. 9-1 in the top half of the 4th inning, and it looks like we're going to have another pitching change. Who's coming in? Oh, they're bringing her back. She is back. Guess who's back? Back again. Pavese is going on the hill again. Pavese returns to the mound. She'll be facing Morgan James. Looking at the box score for the Blue Devils, they have 9 runs on 10 hits. The Saints have 1 run on 3 hits and 2 errors. There is a strike call. So ahead in the count, 0-2. Lawrence Tech has scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 4 in the third, and 3 here. As that's a little nubbler. The pitcher picks it up, underhands it, and that's going to be 1-3 if you're scoring at home for out number 2. And that will leave it up to Brenna Crittenden, the third baseman. She has tripled and struck out in 2 appearances. Remember, she hit that bomb to right field, and that would have been the best hit of the game until Sua's home run a few pitches earlier. First pitch, takes one just a tick low, ball 1. Back on the hill, inside the circle, is Pavese. Here's her pitch. That'll bring the count to 2-0. Digging back in is the third baseman. Flies that one into shallow, and that is a foul ball. Oh, baby, that missed by about 3 inches. Otherwise, that was going to definitely be a double for Crittenden. And now it is Crittenden back into the box, the left-hander, wearing number 99. Waits on the 2-1 pitch from Pavese. Hot shot to the shortstop. Nice play by Hendrickson. She throws her out 6-3, and down go the Blue Devils in the third. But they add a couple more, the big bat being Gloriana Sua's 2-run blast to left field, adding the 3. They're on top 9-1. We'll be back. First pitch, deep to right field, but the right fielder gets back to make the putout. And down goes Hendrickson on a long fly to right for out number 1. One out here for the Saints in their half of the 4th inning. They need some instant offense. They trail 9-1. Ben Scooter waits for the next pitch. Ropes it to the third baseman. Nice play, long throw, step and throw. Gets Ben Scooter by a couple of steps. She's retired 5-3 for out number 2. And that will leave it up to Fisher. Aaliyah Fisher comes up to bat. She singled back in the second inning. Monroe has thrown a good game here today so far for the Blue Devils. There's a ground ball to short. She's going to have to hurry. Step, throws, gets her by a few steps, and down go the Saints. 3 up, 3 down. That's the end of fourth. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Looking at the scoreboard, it's 9-1. Lawrence Tech on top. We'll be back. Keep it here on the AQ YouTube network. First pitch is a called strike. It'll be the bottom three in the batting order here for the Lawrence Tech squad. Markey, Snyder, and Fife in the top half of the fifth. There's a blast into left field, but right there waiting for it and putting it away is Marsh for out number 1. And I don't know if I said right field. Of course, I meant left field for out number 1. That'll bring up Casey Snyder, who's 2 for 2. Both singles. The last time up was credited with an RBI. Here's the pitch. Just a tick outside. Next pitch, right down the middle. That'll even the count at 1-1. Here comes the next pitch. Pops it up to center field. Actually on her horse, but now gets there is Henkel, and she puts it away. 2 up, 2 down. Both pretty well-stroked balls, but it's going to be 2 outs, leaving it up to Fife. There's a blast to center, but right there, so a quick inning as 3 flyouts to the outfield, and down goes Lawrence Tech in the 5th, but they lead 9-1. Trailing by 8. Here comes the Saints in their half of the 5th inning. They're down 9-1. An all-important conference game here. The Saints are 11-9 in the WHAC, whereas the Blue Devils are 9-11. So another one off the netting. Back this way. It'll even the count to 1-1 on Buchema. The catcher walked her first time up. Here's the pitch. Pops it up back this way. The catcher comes back and will make a fine catch. So foul fly out to the catcher for out number 1. That'll bring up the right fielder, Angelina Lanham. Nope, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Psych. That's going to bring up number 42 is going to pinch hit for. Here comes the first offering. Right down the middle for a called strike. Digs back in, waits on the next offering. Did she go? She did. Now she's behind in the count 0-2. Working quickly, gets off the mound, gets back on. Pops it back up and out of play. So Larson behind in the count, 0-2. Waits. Here's the pitch. Strike call. No, just off the mark. He had that hiccup that he usually does before he calls the strike. So a break there for the Saints. Let's see if Larson can take advantage of it. Behind in the count 1-2. Saints need some instant offense. They trail by 8. 1-2 pitch. Off the plate, ball 2. That'll even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out. Bottom half of the 5th inning. If the Saints don't score, this game will be over. And here's the pitch. There's a little looper into left center field. It falls. Good piece of hitting there. Larson gets a single to left field. Now we're going to have, I'm guessing, a courtesy runner. So that'll be, Lanham is going to be back in for her. Yep. And now we will have a pinch hitter for Hinkle. That will be 33. Cuthbert. She takes a ball. The Saints feel like they're about to come in an 8-run 5th inning here. All this with 1 out. Riser up and away, ball 2. Back on the hill is Monroe, working pretty quickly. Gets the sign from James. Here comes the 2-0. Ground ball to second. Scoops it to short for 1. Throw to first. That is the pitcher's best friend, the 463 Express, and that will end the game. Saints get no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We've played the first game. It's official. It is a 9-1 victory for Lawrence Tech. We'll be back with the second game in about 30 minutes. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. Welcome back, my friends. The Saints have taken the lead here in the bottom half of the first inning. Following a leadoff triple from Patrina Marsh, Houseman flied out to left, unable to advance on the play. That brought up Katie Carlson, who grounded out to the second baseman, allowing Marsh to scamper home for the first run of the game. That's where we're at. 1 in, 2 outs. Bottom half of the first, 1-zip. Saints on top, looking to earn a split here in this doubleheader. Hot shot to the shortstop. What a one-hopper. Step, throws, gets her by a couple steps. Fine play there by Markey to retire the Saints. But they pick up 1 run. 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We have played 1 complete inning, 1-zip AQ. We'll be back. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. Welcome back, Joey Sutherland with you here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. To the second inning we go of Game 2. AQ up 1-zip, as it will be Morgan James leading off here for the Blue Devils. First pitch, a riser that's up and away by Drummond. Ball 1. Rhiann Drummond on and in the circle for the Saints. Here's her next pitch. Swing and a miss, brought the heater. Unable to catch up with that was James, as that evens the count at 1-1. James will be followed by Markey and Snyder here in the bottom of the second inning. Grounder back to the pitcher. She grounds it over to first for the out. We're still going to score that 1-3, but that was, that was interesting. We'll just go with that with 1 up, 1 down. Shortstop Zoe Markey's up. Markey had a great play to end the bottom of the first. On that short hopper, she was able to pick and then throw out Ben Scooter. First pitch, just a tick inside, ball 1. Markey in the first game was 1 for 3 with an RBI. Takes a strike to even the count at 1-1. Digs back in, waits. Blasts this one to left field. It's carrying pretty good. Ben Scooter's there, though. In fair territory, she makes the catch for out number 2. So a pretty good poke to left field, but it is just a long out, and it's 2 up, 2 down. I'm going to leave it up to Casey Snyder, the second baseman, for Lawrence Tech. She was 2 for 3 with an RBI. But she was part of one of the stranger plays. Oh, my goodness. I don't know where that one was. Ball is called, though. One of the stranger plays in the first game, when she was running to second base, was hit by a grounder. She is legally out, but the hitter is awarded a single. In foul territory, did she hold on to it? She did. What a play there by Houseman for the final out of the third inning. On a hustling play into foul territory, she catches the pop-up from Snyder, and down go the Blue Devils. 3 up, 3 down in the second. Here come the Saints. They're on top 1-zip. Saints batting their half of the second. There's a little excuse me nubbler to first. They wait for it, pick it up and throw, and it was a little indecision by the two is going to lead to a leadoff, and you can't really rule that an error, so it's going to be an infield single for the catcher. Nice wander. Let's see if she gets a courtesy runner. Well, they're going to leave her there for now. And that is going to actually lead to a conference on the mound. And let's see if that's going to do it for Drummond. She pitched the entire first game. And because it was a short game, I wondered if they were going to let her go or not go. Her do-si-do. But here we go. Or I say so. And it looks like it was just a conference. They were discussing who should be taken in the first round of the NFL draft on Thursday night, or was it can the Pistons make it 2 in a row today as they return home to take on those pesky folks from New York? Doesn't matter. We're back to softball now, and that's where you'd want to be. First pitch is a riser up and away to Ben Scooter. She waits, open stance, ahead in the count 1-0. First pitch, pops it up down the first base line, chasing after it, and it's going to make it into the bullpen for Lawrence Tech for a foul ball, and that'll even the count at 1-1. Jaden Ben Scooter, who is the left fielder here, waits on the 1-1. Ball low, 2-1. Over at first base is Nicewander. She was able to reach on a little nubbler that got between the pitcher and the first baseman. They both said, "You take it." There's a hot shot back up the middle, through past the second baseman for a base hit. That'll put the first two runners on for the Saints. Singles in the infield and to center have put the Saints where they want to be right now. Next up here for the Saints will be number 23, Kenzie Jordan, the designated player here in Game 2 for the Saints. Jordan digs in, waiting for the first offering, shows bunt, puts it down, nice bunt. Pitcher picks it up, only has one play, throws it to first, but the two runners will advance, so it'll be a sacrifice bunt for Jordan. 1-4 sack bunt. Out number 1. So now the Saints have runners at second and third. We're going to have a pinch runner. Looks like 47 is going into the game. That'll be the courtesy runner. Let me put her in there for Ben Scooter. Oh, and now it looks like we might have a pitching change. And we will. Let's take a look at who that is. So we got a courtesy runner and a pitching change. Number 13's coming in the game. Let's get that first. Mayor. We have the Mayor coming into the game. Sydney Mayer. Change it. Who came in at second? It was Makehart? Okay, what number is she wearing today? It's different than 47. All right, after the pitching change, we have the new pitcher into the game is Mayer. And we have courtesy running right now. We have all sorts of activities going on all over the place. I got to double check on that. It is 57 there, but I think she's wearing 47. Swing and a miss, so I will fix that. With the count 0-2 now on the batter, which is Fisher. She takes a riser up and away. That'll bring the count to 1-2. Fisher, the third baseman here for Aquinas. Back in the first game, she was 1 for 2. A little looper to the second baseman who puts it away for out number 2. So P4 for out 2. And now the Saints are in trouble of wasting runners at second and third with less than 2 outs. That's going to leave it up to Hinkle, but looks like we're going to have another change. .34. Oh. No, it's number 3. He said 34. All right, so 2 outs here. Honestly didn't see. Here comes the 1-0. Fouls it down the line. With a 1-1 offering, here it comes. Just a bit off the plate for ball 2. Those were some calls the Saints weren't getting in game 1. Feels like they're getting a couple of those right now. They're ahead in the count 2-1 with the pinch hitter, Postma. Swings and misses behind in the count now. Waits for the next offering from the Mayor. Here it comes. Just pounding it hard into the foul ground. Keeping the count even at 2-2. Sun's peeking out here. And, of course, it's right into my window on my screen, making it a bit challenging to read. But it's all good. We'll get by, folks. Saints looking to get by here with a couple more runs. 2 outs. Ball 3. That was low, but we've also seen that one called, so had to be patient. And now the count's as full as it's going to get with Patrina Marsh in the on-deck circle. 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. There's a foul ball down the first base line and out of play. So we will do it all over again. Postma, the right-handed hitter from Rubyard, Michigan, waits on the payoff pitch. Ball 4, she gets the walk. So a very patient at bat. Let's see if she still stays in there or if Brad's going to re-enter. And my suspicion is we're going to see Hinkle head back there And you know what? Every once in a while, I can get one right. And so we will throw Hinkle back in there, who wears number 4. And that's going to bring up the top of the order, Katrina Marsh, who led the game off with a triple to deep center field, maybe a hair towards right center. And as great of a game as we've seen out of Morissette today, she was unable to track that one down. It just went off of her glove for the leadoff triple. Boy, the Saints would love to get that now. With the sacks full, 2 out, their lead is 1. Digging in is Marsh. The Whiteford standout waits, takes one in the dirt, ball 1. Whiteford High School. She lived in Temperance, Michigan. And at one point played for Davenport. That'll bring the count to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 outs, the base is loaded. We have Neiswender at third. Ben Scooters on second. And over at first is Hinkle. Here's the pitch. Fastball just a bit high, and showing remarkable patience is Marsh, and she would be content to draw a base on ball and get a ribeye the easy way. Here comes the 3-0. Ball 4, she walked her. It wasn't even close. And that'll be an RBI base on balls, and the Saints now have doubled their lead. They're up 2-0. Next up here for AQ will be Houseman. Emma Houseman, the left-handed hitter from North Muskegon High School. She is a senior. Takes ball in the dirt, ball 1. And now struggling to find the mound is the mayor. And she is in trouble of being impeached if she can't find the strike zone soon. Catches the outside corner by a hair, and that will bring the count to 1-1. Decent speed on the bags here for the Saints. Here's the 1-1. There's a little fly ball to the third baseman in foul territory, and Crittenden puts it away, and down go the Saints. But they add another. They're up 2-0. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. To the third inning we head with the Saints on top 2-0. Coming up to bat tier 4. Oh, yeah. Ground ball back to the pitcher, throws her out. That will be 1-3 for out number 1. fouls it away. Is that Ben Skater back in left field? Ben Scooter?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right. Ben Scooter is back in left. So that should get us back to normal. The number 9 hitter, Lauren Fife, with the count 1-1, waits for the next offering from Drummond. Here it comes. She, excuse me, grounds it to third. Gonna have to hurry. They got her. Ooh, baby, that was close. So much for tie goes to the runner, but a great play there by Fisher with a nice stretch from Carlson for out number 2. No, and it's so funny, you know, a baseball umpire would have been very dramatic on that play at first base because it was bang bang. The base umpire here just gave that, yeah, she's out. And it was so close and right in front of the Blue Devils bench. Pops it up into to deep right field. That's over the head. Short hops the wall, and that's going to be a triple, a 2-out triple for Lily Morissette. And that ball continued to carry. I thought off the bat that Marsh would have a shot at getting that one, and it was like the Energizer bunny. It just kept going and going and going, and now you have a 2-out triple. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, number 99, Brenna Crittenden. Open stance, left-hand hitter, waits. Takes one up, ball 2. 2-0, and this is where you're starting to get into the dangerous portion of the lineup here for Lawrence Tech. Ball 3, off the plate. On deck is Alyssa Bloomfield, who's had a pretty good day. She singled her last time up, and she's going to come up with runners at first and second, following a 4-pitch walk to Crittenden. Now there are runners at the corners and 2 outs, and you really want to get Bloomfield here. You do not want to face Sua. Back in the circle is Drummond. Here comes the first pitch to Bloomfield. It's another ball. 5 straight now. Steps out, gets the signal from the coach. Coach Meese, as the next one now is 6 balls in a row. Stepping out. And now that's going to bring Coach Hausman out to have a conversation on the hill. Nice Wender goes out there for good measure, but you can see she is very cautiously staying away from the circle and letting Coach say what he has to say. And Coach Hausman's a little bit animated out there. I'm sure he's upset because he did not get a hollow Easter bunny for Easter. But following the timeout and the conference at the mound, coming back digging in is going to be Alyssa Bloomfield. And now, still waiting for players to get in the right position. And for good measure, it was Marsh coming in to high-five Hausman, which is totally normal. Fly ball down the right field line on our horse's Ben Scooter, but that's going to end up in the AQ bullpen for a loud foul ball. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top half of the Third inning, Saints on top 2-zip. Bloomfield waits. Hot shot back to the second baseman. Houseman has it, throws to first, gets her by about 4 steps, and down go the Blue Devils. They get 2 on, but cannot push them through at the end of 2.5. Saints up 2-zip. We'll be back. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. First pitch coming up here in the bottom of the third. Right down the middle for a called strike. Katie Carlson grounded out to second base her first time up here in game number 2. Saints lost the first one 9-1. Looking for a split. It's important this time of year. As for the Blue Devils, they win and they're tied with Aquinas. There's a blast to left, way back. It's off the wall. Oh, it was about 3 feet short of a salami. She just missed putting that one out of the park. Instead, it'll be a leadoff double. A good rope to left center by Katie Carlson, as the sun is definitely out in full force right now. It's going to bring up Hendrickson. She grounded to short her first time. Takes one low and away for ball. Mayer's next offering in the dirt, ball 2. Hendrickson, the cleanup hitter here for the Saints, also plays shortstop. Waits on the 2-0 pitch. Pops that one up. Third baseman in foul territory calls for it and puts it away for out number 1. That's going to bring up Nicewender, who singled and scored back in the second. That was that little nubbler off the end of the bat that the first baseman and the pitcher couldn't figure out who was going to pick it up. And that was really a charitable single, but you can't really call an error on the play. So now she waits with a 1-0 count, runner at second. That's going to catch the outside corner, even at 1-1. Digs back in with the open stance. Waits on the offering here from Mayer. Swing and a miss. Swings right through the fastball. Well placed on the lower half of the outside corner. And that'll bring the count to 1-2. Ground ball to third, foul. Between Coach Brad Cook and the Aquinas dugout. So stepping out for a moment is Abby. The catcher for the Saints gets back in. Digs in and now awaits the offering from Mayer. Ground ball to the third baseman. Nice play. Long throw. And they get her. And holding at second is Carlson. That was a great play. And that time Nicewender gets robbed by a really good play by Crittenden at third base. for out number 2. And now the Saints are left with 2 outs and a runner at second. It's up to Ben Scooter. Takes one in the dirt. The catcher has to fight to keep that one in front of her, and does. Nice play, nice surrounding at that time by James. Not too often you have the catcher wearing number 1, as there's a line drive down the first base line, hook and foul. And a foul ball right back. So now the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes for the left fielder, Ben Scooter. She had a singler last time up. Saints would love to get that again. Fouls another one back this way. And doing her best imitation of the Bee Gees, Ben Scooter is staying alive, and she will take another swing here when she returns to the batter's box with a count 1-2. Mayer back on the hill, gets the sign from James. In the dirt, another nice save by James. Now the count's at 2-2. Working quickly. Fly ball to deep center field, but on the beat is Morissette, and she puts it away. So Jaden gave it a ride, but it is corralled in center field by Morissette, and down go the Saints. They threaten but don't score at the end of 3. They're on top 2-zip. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. We head to the 4th inning of the second game of this twin bill here. Saints on top 2-zip. They dropped the first game 9-1. Leading off the 4th for the Blue Devils will be the first baseman, Gloriana Sua. Sua, this is exactly where you want her. Leading off the inning, because she showed she was a triple shy of the cycle in the first game and has some big pop with that home run. Fouls this one back this way into the netting. And it'll bounce into the first row of the box seats here at Cornerstone Complex. That'll bring the count to 0-2. Did she go? I think she did. She did. No soup for you. Down goes Sua for out number 1. Tried to hold up as the riser was definitely out of the strike zone, but she was too far into it, and it's 1 down here in the top of the 4th for the Blue Devils, bringing up Morgan James, the catcher, who takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. James has done a great job in the catching here today, both games, and she's moved the ball, done a pretty good job at the plate. That one she takes for a ball, leaving the count 1-1. She grounded back to the pitcher in the second inning, her only at bat here in game 2. Takes a riser up and in. That'll bring the count to 2-1. Working quickly is Drummond. There's a little looper. Caught by the shortstop Hendrickson for out number 2. It'll be scored as an L6, but honestly it was a little looper, not a line out. They don't have one for that, so you have to take the L6 for out number 2. And that's going to leave it up to Markey, who flew out their first time, to Ben Scooter back in left field. 2 outs now as I'm being swarmed by flies and ants. That one's called a strike. That'll even the count at 1-1. Zoe Markey, the shortstop here for the Blue Devils, has 1 hit on the day. She pops that one to center field. Waiting to catch it is Hinkle, and she puts it away. Just a can of corn, and down goes Lawrence Tech in their half of the 4th inning. 3 up, 3 down. 1, 2, 3 they go. We've played 3.5. Saints on top 2-zip. Keep it here. Aquinas comes to hit here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, leading off for the Saints. Well, let me actually take care of this first. Hot shot to the shortstop. She went down too soon. It took a funny hop. Let's see how they're going to score that one. Will that be a hit or an error? That really did take a tough hop. We're going to score it a base hit for now. 6. Coach Cook might disagree with me later, but that's his prerogative. He's the head coach. Right now, this is the score. I'm going to rule that a single, bringing up Fisher with nobody out and 1 on here. Bunt showed, pulled it back. It takes it for a ball, I believe. Here comes the pitch. Bunt again, pops it up. That's going to be dropping in, and it's going to be a base hit. Oh my goodness, it is sometimes better to be lucky than good. She popped it up. Nobody wanted to take it. Once it hit the turf, that was an infield single for Fisher. On the play, Kenzie Jordan heads down to second base. That was another weird one. We've seen some weird ones. With the Saints now with runners at first and second, that's going to bring Hinkle back up to bat. All right. After that after that conversation on the mound, we're back to live action here. First pitch coming up to Hinkle. She shows bunt, pulls it back, it's a ball. A pretty good textbook approach here to covering by Lawrence Tech on the bunt. Everybody went to the right assignment. Here comes the 1-0 offering. Pulls it back again for ball 2. Saints right now have Jordan on second and Fisher on first. Remember, they had runners at second and third and stranded him there back in the second. Not before scoring a run, though. Shows bunt. Offers this time. That'll bring the count to 2-1. The lefty, Hinkle, steps out. The center sacker for AQ waits on the 2-1 offering. Shows bunt. Lays it down. Third baseman picks it up. Going to go to third. They call her out on a bang-bang play. So, no sacrifice. That's just going to be a fielder's choice. And it's going to go 5-6. You don't see that one very often. For out number 1. And exactly. That's one of those do-or-die plays. And the third baseman was so in close, she was almost in the batter's box. Now we go to the top of the order with runners still at first and second, but a different 2 there. Now it's Jordan at second and Hinkle at first. In the dirt for ball 1. Marsh has reached safely both times. She tripled and scored in the first, walked back in the second. Now she's got runners at first and second and 1 out. Here's the pitch. Takes it for a strike right at the knees. Steps out for a quick breather. Now comes back in, does Marsh. Swing and a miss. The riser. She was made up her mind she was going to go after that one. And unfortunately was over her head and out of really her happy zone. So now behind in the count 1-2. Grounds it into the dirt for ball 2. Good eye there. And another fine play by James, the backstop. Taking a few practice swings is Marsh. One last one before she digs back in with her open stance. Swing and a miss. Down she goes. Out number 2. That's a big strikeout there for the Blue Devils. And that's going to leave it up to Houseman, who's 0 for 2. Oh, it would have left it up to Houseman, but it won't now. We're going to have a pinch hitter coming up. Looks like it is going to be, yeah, it's Delchambre digging in, 25. And I'm sure Houseman will come back to play second. But right now, we are going to put in Delchambre to pinch hit. First offering. Ground ball off the pitcher's mitt. Second baseman's going to have to hurry. Throws it. Not in time. She's safe. Now the base umpire said she was off the bag, but I think she had beaten it out anyway. And that's going to be an infield single. 1B to 4. Everybody will advance. And let's see if they're leaving her in to run. They are. And that's going to bring up Carlson, who doubled her last time up, now has the sacks full. Takes one right down the middle for a called strike, although she may or may not agreed with that call. Now the sophomore from Zeeland East digs back in and waits on the 0-1 offering. That was a Taylor away by the Mayor. That'll even the count at 1-1. We have Fisher at third, Hinkle at second, and Houseman is over. I beg your pardon, Delchambre at first. That is a major league pop-up. Coming in on it is Fife. She's there and puts it away. Oh, she took it away from the center fielder and almost let that one hit the turf, but instead And got under it a little bit, did Carlson, and down go the Saints. They threaten, get the bases loaded, but are unable to push it in. Their lead is still 2-zip at the end of 4. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. Ahead in the count, 1-2 is Drummond. She is facing Casey Snyder, the second baseman. Bounces that one in. That'll bring the count even at 2-2. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Picks it up, underhands it to first. 1-3 for out number 1 here in the 5th inning. Nice job there. Playing defense at her position. Helping her own cause, if you will, with that fine defensive play. 1 up, 1 down. That's going to bring up the designated batter, or designated player, Larissa Mercado. She grounded back her last time to the pitcher, Drummond. God bless you. Snyder takes. That'll bring the count even at 1-1. On deck is Fife, the number 9 hitter and the left fielder. Ground ball back up the middle, through for a base hit. Nice effort there by Hendrickson, but she cannot quite get her glove on it, and that'll be a 1-out single for Mercado. Fouled away. Had to look at that one for a minute. So 1 up, or 1 down, 1 on to the number 9 hitter. Shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike. That'll bring the count to 1-2, or 0-2. I thought I could have missed one. So now the 0-2 pitch to Fife. She chips at it foul down the third base line. Unable to catch up to that one was Ben Scooter. So that'll be a foul ball. And they will give a new pill to Drummond on the hill. Drummond gets back in the circle, totes the rubber. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. Strike 3 called, and on the play, steal attempt. And she is in safely. So striking out swinging. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I was like, she's out. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, all along I thought it was a strikeout for out number 2, but Mercedes will steal second. Okay, swinging. And that's going to leave it up to the top of the order, but she has been a handful of trouble. Morissette, she takes one low for a ball. She tripled and was stranded her last time up. Lined sharply to the third baseman, Fisher, to start the game. 1 for 2 here. There's a blast to center. This is trouble. Way back, got a shot. Off the wall. That's going to be a double. And she is now the tying run at second base. So she has a triple and now a double to dead center field. She will get a run batted in on that one. And the game is now 2-1. Those missed opportunity at tack on runs could turn out to be huge. That's going to bring up the third baseman. She's walked and flied to left. The left-hander waits, swings and misses. Oh, that was one of those running swings, but she did not make contact. That'll even the count at 1-1. Here's the pitch to left field. It's shallow. It might drop in. It does, and it takes a funny hop. Misplayed there. This could end up being a triple. Nope, they're going to hold her at second base. Oh, my goodness. The little looper right in front of the left fielder, Ben Scooter, but it took a funny hop. She did not, I mean, in fairness, it took a weird spin, and we're now tied after back-to-back 2-out doubles. That was just a weird hop. And all this began with a strikeout stolen base. And a hot shot back up the middle, and the Blue Devils are going to have the lead. That's going to be another double. This one might turn into a triple. Oh, she stopped early. But 3 straight doubles from the top of the order have now given the Blue Devils the lead. They're on top 3-2. And now Coach Brad Cook heads to the umpire. Looks like we're going to have a new pitcher here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Drummond has been replaced by number 10, Sophia Pavese, and we'll be back. Keep it here. So this is not exactly an envious position to be in right now for Pavese, who comes in after 3 straight doubles, has given the Blue Devils a 3-2 lead, and now the big bat in the lineup, Sua, is the first batter. She takes a strike. She did strike out looking her swinging her last time up. Here comes the 0-1 offering. Low and away, ball 1. That'll even the count at 1-1. Morgan James, the catcher, is on deck. 3 straight doubles. Swinging a foul ball into the dirt. And now potentially, Pavese is 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. We are in the top half of the 5th inning, 3-2 now. Digs back in. Pavese gets the sign from Nicewender. Here comes the pitch. Blast into right field. This is trouble, and it is 1 hop the wall, another double. So now it's 4 straight doubles. I guess one might say that it is the Blue Devils taking a page out of, well, one of the most famous authors of all time. To be or not to be, to be, to be. That is the question, and right now, that is the answer. As we have a courtesy runner going down, that is, trying to see the number, for Sua. It's now 4-2 in favor of Lawrence Tech. And there's a foul out of play. Oh, the home plate umpire was needing some more softballs. But a very productive top half of the 5th for the visitors. After a grounder back to the pitcher, a 1-out single and a strikeout, it has been 4 straight doubles. And that hitter, and now the catcher will trot down to first base. They're going to have to make sure she's okay. And now the number 9 batter in the batting order. This will be the batted around, the shortstop, Zoe Markey. As Maya, the trainer for the Saints, is going to go have a look at James. And we'll be right back. So now runners at first and second, 2 outs. The number 9 hitter in the order, or well, the number 9 hitter in this inning. Markey takes a strike that'll leave the count at 1-1. We certainly hope that OK is Morgan James, the catcher, as she was hit from the 1-2 pitch right in the forearm. Pops this one up and out of play, foul. I think that is number 20 as the courtesy runner. Now we're at 0-2 here on the shortstop Markey. Ground ball in the hole for a base hit. They're going to hold her up, though, and everybody moves up one base. So now the sacks are full. They have officially batted around here in the 5th inning. They're on top 4-2, and that's going to bring up Casey Snyder. Okay, something's not right. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Just a bit low. There is a pop-up into right, and it's caught! What a catch! That saved 3 runs from scoring. A remarkable catch. Holy cow. But the damage is done. They score 1, 2, 3, 4 runs on 4 doubles and a single snuck in there. And it is now 4-2 as the Saints will come to bat in their bottom of the 5th. So now it's the Saints who need to get some runs. They trail by 2. It's an exact opposite of the top half of this inning. Instead, though, it's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher. 1-3 for out number 1. That's going to bring up Abby Nicewender. Nicewender is singled and scored back in the 2nd and grounded out to the 3rd baseman her last time up. She's 1 for 2. Takes the ball in the dirt. It is really good to see that Morgan is back in the game, back catching. This is the 2nd game she's caught, and now she's going to have a bruise on her forearm, but Morgan James is one tough cookie. There's a blast to left center. It's a plethora of trouble over the head of the center fielder. Rounding first, heading into second with a stand-up double. Man, the 5th inning has been the inning of doubles. 4 for the visitors, and now so far 1 for the Saints. They could use a few more of those themselves. Ben Scooter, and if there was one play that kind of changed things around in the top half of the 5th, it was that little looper into left field that took a wicked spin away from Ben Scooter and really allowed the floodgates to open. First pitch in the dirt for a ball. Ben Scooter 1 for 2. Takes ball 2. With Kenzie Jordan on deck. Bottom half of the 5th inning. The Blue Devils won the first game. Strike call won the first game by a score of 9-1. Saints really need the split here. But the Blue Devils are giving them everything. There's a hot shot down the first baseline, but foul. That'll even the count at 2-2. Digging back in, the right-handed senior. She waits. Takes one up and away. Nice eye. Ball 3. And I can tell you right now, Coach Cook does not care how she gets on base, just so long right now as she gets on base. Now we're going to have a payoff pitch. The runner at second, 1 down. Here it comes. Ground ball to the shortstop. Nice play. She boots it, but now they might have her at second. They throw it away, but now they're going to keep everybody there. That is a crazy play. That one really, the funny thing was, I don't know. I don't know how to score that one. Yeah. Yeah, am I going to give an error or a fielder's choice? But she wasn't looking one. She was looking 2 the whole way. All right, we're going to have a pitching change. I'm going to sort this one out. We'll be back. Keep it here on the AQ Network. All right, we got plenty of things to fill you in on. Our new pitcher coming into the game is going to be number 12, Michaela Tim. And now pinch running over at first base for Ben Scooter will be number 99, Angelina Lanham. So runners at first and second. And we did get confirmation after looking at video review. The previous play is being changed to an E6 fielding play. E6, error on the shortstop. So the Saints now have runners at first and second. Nobody out. That first pitch was low and in for a ball. Jordan back in, waits. Pops one up. The catcher gets back, but it's going to be about 7 feet past the fence out of play, even in the count at 1-1. Saints desperately need to barrel one up here and find a hole. Kenzie Jordan digs back in. Fouls another one away. This one a little bit sharper. And it lands in the Frisbee golf course area. Now behind in the count, 1-2. With the new pitcher, Tim on the mound. Here's the pitch. Riser up and away for ball 2, 2-2. Waiting now on the 2-2 offering. A bad pitch way away. That's going to be as wild as it comes. Runners are going to move up. Both runners will move up on that wild pitch. And now the Ducks are in the pond for Jordan. The count is full, 3-2. Inside, she walked her. The sacks are full. And for Jordan, she sacrificed bunt in the second, singled in the fourth, and now walked in the fifth. She's 1 for 1. And that's going to bring up Aaliyah Fisher. Tying run at second, 1 out. First pitch. Ground ball back up to the second baseman. This could be 2. Looks for the bag, but that's all she has. So a heads-up play. That's going to be a fielder's choice for Fisher and an RBI. Out at second for you is Jordan, and both other runners will advance. And now the Saints will have runners at the corners, 2 outs, the tying run at third. Yep. And another pinch hitter in the 9 slot. This time it is going to be for the Saints coming up to bat, number 33, Kerrigan Cuthbert, the freshman. Here's the first pitch. Ground ball to the second baseman. She's got an easy play over to first. 4-3, and the Saints get 1, but they cannot tie it up. We go to the 6th. It's now 4-3 in favor of the Blue Devils. We'll be back. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. Good effort there by Delchambre, but she's unable to corral that one. So it's just going to be a foul ball. That'll bring the count to 1-2 on the leadoff hitter. And the designated player, Larissa Mercado. The 1-2 pitch. Grounder to second. It hits the dirt, but dug out. Nice play, 4-3 for out number 1. She tried to catch it in the air, but was unable to. Still gets the first out, and that's going to bring up the number 9 hitter and left fielder, Lauren Fife. Fife 0 for 2, struck out her last time up. Waits for the first offering here from Pavese. Shows bunt, bunts it back to the pitcher. Has one play, and she's out, and then actually hits pretty hard. She fell on her own, I think. I don't think she was tripped. Make sure she's okay. See if they're going to call for the trainer. 2 outs is going to bring up the top of the order. And it was Morissette who started the 4 straight doubles her last time up. Takes one right down the middle for a called strike. Morissette lined out sharply to third, tripled in the third, doubled in the 5th. 2 for 3 with a couple of extra base hits. Fouls one back our way for strike 2. And now the center fielder steps out for a quick spell. Regains her composure. And here's the 0-2. Flies this one to left, but there is Marsh. She waits for it to come down and puts it away. So after a long 5th inning, the Saints are able to take out the Blue Devils 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 4-3, the Blue Devils on top. The Saints will have the top of the order coming up here in the 6th inning. Patrina Marsh, who is 1 for 2, takes one for a called strike. Ground ball down the third baseline, foul. Now the count is 0-2 on the leadoff hitter. Getting the sign is Tim. A riser up and away. Marsh tripled, if you remember, back in the top half of the 1st inning. I beg your pardon, the bottom half of the 1st inning. Now ground ball past the third baseman into left field for a leadoff single. That'll make her 2 for 3 with a walk. That's the tying run, as it will be, looks like batting now for the Saints is going to be Is that 29? It is Jaden. Okay, Delchambray is in. She shows bunt, puts it down. The great one. Third baseman has a. They throw back to second. I almost get away with it. That'll be a sack bunt. And I don't know what. Was there an injury on the play? Coach Cook is out to look at Marsh. I don't know if she dove back and landed on the pillow. I'm not 100% sure.
When she slid back, she slid weird.
She slid weird going back to the bag. Yep, and that's. I think she might have just kind of knocked the own wind out of herself. But the umpires are letting Coach Cook have a fair amount of time to talk to her. He's having her check her running. I believe he's content that she is okie and or dokie, as he has a little smile for the field umpire. Tying run at second, only one out. Now we got 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Katie Carlson, who's doubled in 3 at bats. The first baseman digs in and waits for the first offering from Tim. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Oh, she was swinging for extra bases on that one for sure. Steps out, takes a practice swing or two. Now gets back into the box. In the dirt, gets away from the catcher. Throw to third, not in time. Wild pitch will advance Marsh into scoring position now with only 1 out. That was a great read that time by Marsh, because she had to make that decision early. And now with the count 1-1, the tying run at third. Another one low and away. Nice save that time by Morgan James. Gets back on the hill, does Tim. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Blasts that one down the first base line, foul. And now the count will be even at 2-2. It bounces off the netting all the way back to Carlson, who picks it up, hands it to the catcher, who throws it back to the pitcher. The Saints are actually out hitting right now Lawrence Tech 9-8, but they trail 4-3. Ground ball down the third baseline, just foul between actually Marsh and Coach Cook on that one. The third baseman was unable to corral it. And now the left fielder will throw it back into the shortstop, who gets it to the first baseman, who gives it back to the pitcher. The path the ball takes to get back to the pitcher. And now we have a 2-2 count once again. 1 down, tying run at third. Carlson waits in the dirt. Ball. Now the count will be full 3-2. Interesting situation here. You don't want to give her anything too good to hit, but you do have the cleanup hitter on deck. Here comes the payoff pitch. Grounder to the first baseman, and nobody's there. She's going to have to take it herself. And because of that, it'll be an RBI and tie the game. So that's going to be 1 U for the putout, but an RBI for Carlson. And Marsh is able to trot home, and we are tied. Two outs now for Hendrickson. Bottom half of the 6th inning of a 4-4 tie. Hot shot to the shortstop. Step, throws off the bag. Yes! So that's going to be an E6 throwing, because they had her by a couple steps. So that's the second error in as many innings. And that's going to bring up Nicewender, who is doubled and singled, scored 2. As she takes a look at Coach Cook, takes a look over to first base to Hendrickson, and now digs in and waits for the first offering from Tim. Here's the pitch. There's a blast to left field. Pretty deep. It's got a shot. It is long gone. A 4-to-score. Touch 'em all. A bottom of the 6th. 2-run bomb for Abby Neiswender. And the Saints have taken the lead 6-4. She crushed that one. Back goes Fife, but she watched it fly, and the Saints now have the lead, and you can really thank the 2-out error from the shortstop allowing that batter to come on. We have a pitching change coming up. We're going to step out with the Saints now 3 outs away from getting a split. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. The softball Valhalla has definitely factored into this game as the Saints, who were up 2-0 going into the 5th inning, when all of a sudden it was doubles being given out like Easter candy was on Sunday. They took the lead 4-2. The Saints got one back in the bottom half of the 5th. But here, all with 2 outs in the 6th, the Saints tie it up on a grounder back to the pitcher, scoring Marsh. And then after a 2-out error for Hendrickson to reach, it is a home run by Abby Neiswender, and the Saints are now 3 outs away from a W. They're on top 6-4. New pitcher in the game, that is number 23. Let me check and see who that is for the visitors. As the pitch is low, 2 balls and a strike. 23 is Grace Roski. Roski in the game now for the Blue Devils with 2 outs. Oh, it looks like we have a pinch hitter. And we do. That is, yep. So Angelina now is in for Ben Scooter. That is a called strike. Now I'll be interested to see where everybody goes in the top half of the 7th. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count is full. Strike call. She stood there one too many times and goes down, but the Saints pick up 3. The big blast was the Neiswender 2-run shot. The Saints on top 6-4. We'll be back with the top half of the 7th when we return. Keep it here on the AQ Saints YouTube network. Okay, so some defensive changes here for the Saints. Houseman is back in at second to start the top half of the 7th inning. The Saints are 3 outs away from earning a split, left to right in the outfield. It will be for Aquinas. You have Marsh in left. Center field is Lanham. And in right field, it is number 33, Cuthbert. As there's Cuthbert getting the fly out, and she corrals it for out number 1. As a pretty good poke there for Crittenden, but right into the mitt there of the right fielder for out number 1. It doesn't get any easier, though, folks. Now it's going to bring up Bloomfield. She doubled her last time up as well. I could say that a lot. Hot shot. Oh, what a play by the first baseman. Nobody's there. Does she beat her to the bag? She does. Great hands, soft hands. Carlson with a spectacular play. And down goes Bloomfield, 3 unassisted. And it's 2 up, 2 down in the 7th inning. What a great defensive play. And here comes, this is exactly how I'm sure Coach Cook wanted to see Suha, is with nobody on here. She takes the first pitch low. Suha is at a huge day, although in the nightcap, she's only 1 for 3 with a double the last time up. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Ball 2 just off the plate. And I can assure you that Pavese, the Saints coaching staff, and particularly Coach Houseman, does not want to see a base on ball here. If she hits what she did, another extra base hit, so be it. And actually, because of the great hustle there by Lanham, they're going to hold Suha to a long single. That hit the dead center field wall, and it's going to be a single. That's how hard she hit it. So Suha now is got a single and a double and 4 at bats in this game. And in the first game, she had a single, a double, and a home run. So I would say that's a pretty good. What do we got going on here? What are they? Coach Cook is asking for something here. And he's pretty confident. Whatever it would be. That's the right batter, I can tell you that. The umpires are really having a conversation here. Now they're going to talk to the coach for Lawrence Tech. Maybe they're trying to do a courtesy runner, and coach, they're somehow unable to do so. I'm not sure what it is, folks. This is a mystery wrapped up in an enigma. But you can see a little bit of angst right now for the Blue Devils coach. The 2 umpires are looking at the lineup card. And now and I think the game's over. And folks, I honestly have no idea what just happened. Unless when Suha last time up did not get re-entered. That's what it is. And so she batted out of order, and Brad waited, Coach Cook. So that's actually going to be a batting out of order in your day for the boys baseball team for AQ. Softball, there will be a stream, but there will not be, with that stream, there will not be a broadcast, as I will be with baseball. So we want to thank you for that. We also want to remind everybody that tomorrow the men's lacrosse team will be playing in Indiana Tech to see if they have a shot to play in the championship game on Saturday. Lots of activities going on. For more information, check out www.aqsaints.com for more information. That's going to wrap it up here today from Cornerstone Complex. I'm Joey Sutherland. Thanks for watching.